Now, President Nana Akufo asked African countries to stop being beggars, or to stop begging the Western countries for mostly for money. Yeah, of course, that Africans can really thrive if they start using their own currency, depending on their own money, their own economy. And of course, he was bringing out the example of China. Of course, most countries right now use China as an example. Looking at how China came from being a very poor country to right now a superpower economically. And a lot of countries right now, whenever they are talking about the economy, of how they are changing the economy, how they can become economically independent, they bring out China as the example. But before continuing, I just want to read out what President Nana really actually said. This is what he said. If we stop being beggars and spend African money inside the continent, Africa will not need to ask for respect from anyone. We will get the respect we deserve if we make this prosperous. We make it prosperous as it should be. Respect will follow. That's what he said. He actually talks about respect. He talks about being beggars. These are key points. These are key phrases that I would want us to look at. Being beggars to the Western powers, and also respect. Getting respect that we really deserve. Let us first watch the video while President Nana was speaking in US Africa Leaders Summit that has been going on in the United States.
We know what we need to do. It is time just to do it. We've run out of excuses for the state of our continent. We have the manpower. We should have the political will. It is time to make Africa work. We have good reason to be proud of who we are and the beautiful continent that is ours with its vibrant cultures. The geographic space covered by Africa makes it the second largest of the 7 continents. It has 30% of the world's remaining minerals of value. It has some of the most breathtaking scenes on our planet. It has plants and animals that are wonders of the world and critical for the survival of the globe. I hear a lot about the need to change our narrative and tell our own good story. Ladies and gentlemen, as the saying goes, nothing succeeds like success. If we work at it, if we stop being beggars and spend Africa's monies inside the continent, Africa would not need to ask for respect from anyone. We would get the respect we deserve.
President Nana is one of the people that I've looked at as a person that is Pan-African, and he's been bringing out speeches and speaking against Western powers and facing them and telling them the truth. And a lot of things have been happening. But of recently, the things that have really been happening in Ghana, and even when you look at the report by the African News, you see that here they stated that President Nana made these remarks. Okay, let me just read the way they reported it, that Nana Akufo Addo's remarks came on the day that the International Monetary Fund agreed to give Ghana a $3 billion loan to alleviate an unprecedented economic downturn in the West African country, in Ghana, of course, because Ghana has recorded an inflation of, I think, up to 40%. Yes, 40%, and it has not been going well for President Nana in the recent few months. But like, while he's talking about not begging, of course, the report shows that the IMF, International Monetary Fund, has approved another loan of $3 billion to be given to Ghana. And I think that is not something that we should talk about, we should be thriving on, but we should look at his point, like the point that he made of African countries stopping to beg Western powers. Though sometimes when these people talk about the Western powers, they just talk about the West, like as in the West, Europe and America, but they don't look at what they're begging and what the loans that they are taking from Asia, mostly China. I don't know why that, but African presidents look at this as something that is normal, or that are not loans, or what. I really don't understand. They feel like the relationship between them and China is more personal or brotherly than the relationship between them and the other Western part. And of course, if we continue with President Nana's speech, he also pointed out brotherhood when it comes to Africans. He said that if you are Africa, if you are African, you are African. You are not Ghanaian, you're not Nigerian, you're not Ugandan, you're not Tanzanian, but you're African. He made a very good speech, and he said that, for example, if you live in America, you studied in America, and you have a very good degree, master's, and you went to the best schools there, and you have a very good job, but if there is Ebola in one part of Africa, then you're African. You will become, you're definitely African, and your continent has a problem. So he was like calling out Africans that are also living abroad and also those ones that are in the continent, to stop identifying themselves according to their countries, but according to their continent, which is being African. And I think that was a very tremendous speech coming out of President Nana.
I've stated it before, that it sometimes appears the words Africa and Africans have more resonance outside the continent than inside. When we are home on our continent, it always seems very important to assert that we are Ghanaians, Ivorians, Kenyans, Nigerians, Swazis, Senegalese, Rwandans, South Africans, and Zambians. Then we find ourselves outside the continent, and then we discover that to the outside world, there are no Ghanaians, there are no Senegalese, and there are no Tanzanians. There are only Africans, and we are all simply Africans.